This is Captain Jake Wheelis with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report. All right, guys, we're down here on what we call the old pier. There's an old pier that sits right in here with a gut that runs right in front of that pier. The water's real clear down here. We've been throwing a lot of your pink Cosmo, your white and pink big hoagie, and your pink flamingo down south lures. We've been catching some trout. We've been catching some redfish in here. Just make sure you throw your light colors. That water's real clear. All right, we're gonna come down here right past the Pita Channel. There's a lake that sits right in here. We've been fishing. There's a gravel bar that sits out there. The tide's up real high. Get out as far as you can and throw that lure as deep as you can. Look for bait, look to see activity in the water, and wade to that activity. Right there on that gravel bar, it's been holding a fair amount of trout. The trout up here have been real skinny. They haven't been real fat, and that's due to the water clarity. Again, we're throwing a lot of light colored, a lot of natural looking baits that imitate what we're seeing in the water. Your pinks, your Laguna glasses, colors in that nature. All right, guys, we're down here on the Bird Island Basin, right here around North Bird and through all of these drains, right in here along the intercoastal into Nighthawk. The fish, again, are skinny in here. It's a lot of clear water. There's a lot of fish in here. A lot of fish, you get a lot of bites, again with your light colors and your pinks. Down south lures in here, and they really thumped them. Caught a lot of redfish in here. Lots of trout, but we're getting a lot of bites in here. All right, guys, we're over here in the Badlands, right down these rocks right here. The water is darkened up in here quite a bit after this wind that we've had. Catching a lot of really good fish in here. We had one that was 28.5 in here last week. Throwing your Kool-Aids, throwing your hoppers. Throw some topwaters. If it's smooth, throw your little topwaters in here. When it roughens up a bit, get your big topwaters, your super spooks and your top dogs out, and throw them up here. We're catching a lot of fish on topwater, which is always exciting. It makes the day a lot better when you feel that blow up. All right, we're over here on the back side of Starvation Point. All right in here, there's some good grass beds and some sand pockets. We've been catching a lot of fish in here. Again, that water's darkened up in here with the wind this last week, and we're throwing some dark colors mixed in with some topwaters. Even throwing a few fat boys up in here this last week and caught some fish on them. I'm really excited to see this winter pattern starting. These fish are going to a bigger bait. It's going to be an awesome winter, guys. Awesome winter. Once this water gets out of here a little bit, it's going to be on. We've been fishing up here on Mud Island, right in here in these drains. There's a bunch of drains and creeks that run right in here. On an outgoing tide, it's really good to get up here and wait for that bait to push out and fish those drains. They're going to be up in there. Just look at your water quality. Your water quality changes in here nonstop with the wind. And look at don't be scared to fish that dirty water. If there's bait jumping in that dirty water, fish it. Look for your water quality to determine the color of plastic that you're going to be using. If it's darker water, if it's wind-blown water, fish your brighter colors from your whites to your something them fish can see. If it's dark but green water, look for your hoppers and look for your reds and your Texas roach and work that lure slower. We're getting into the winter pattern. Then fish are going to be moving a little slower. Work it a little slower. Let it get down in that grass and pop it back up out of there. All right, guys, we're down here on Allen's Bite. Right on the inside right in here and coming around the back side of it here, there's a little bit of mud and a little sand and grass. It's everything a fish would want sitting in here. Them fish are really holding right here on this point. Bites and into these lakes when it starts getting cold and get on some mud. And again, we're throwing a lot of light colors still. That water's clean, real clean up in here still. And a lot of your Laguna glasses. Chicken on a chain has been working awesome in here. Your key lime pie has been working really well. Just let that water dictate what color you start with and work through your colors. Don't be the guy that says, oh, I caught that 28-inch fish on this lure and that's all I'm going to throw. Right up in here in these flats, right up in these drains and these sand and grass flats, you can see this drain right in here. We've been catching some good fish. Look for bait, guys. Again, it's been real light colored water, and when that north wind is swapped, it's been some darker colored water. Let that water dictate what colors you throw. Look for bait. We've been catching a lot of trout and redfish in here and some good fish. We had one over here a couple weeks ago that was 25. Just be looking for bait and let the water dictate what you throw. All right, guys, we're over here in Turtle Pen in Copano Bay. We've been fishing along these shorelines up into this Copano Creek area and coming back around. That fresh water has finally gotten out of the bay that we've seen pretty much all year. It'd get out and then it'd come back, and it'd get out and then it'd come back. We're finally up here to where it's out and we're fishing it. We've been catching all these redfish. We've been catching a lot of redfish. Not many trout, but we've been catching a lot of redfish. We've been catching them on plastics. If you wanted to throw a piece of cut mullet up there, they're gonna smack that cut mullet too. Again, this has been some darker water because you have a little bit of fresh water mixed in there with that creek. We're gonna be throwing our Kool-Aids and we're gonna be throwing our hoppers. Even take that hopper and dip that tail a little bit in white, and it'll really add a little more flash to it, and you can still fish it in a little dirtier water. And fish it tight. Fish it tight up against the shoreline, up against that grass. As high as this tide is, it's got them redfish pushed back just a little bit. All right, guys, we're up here on these reefs in North Copano. With this north wind, man, this water has been looking awesome up here. This is where we've been catching our trout back in here. And we're looking at some light water on this north wind, and that south wind gets pumping. It's gonna change the color of the water just a little bit and off color it a hair. Don't be scared to fish it still. If there's bait there, there's fish there. If them fish are jumping, they're not jumping because they want to. There's something bigger behind them. Go through your water progressions, find what color they're eating on, and throw it up there and let it get smacked. Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Jake Wheelis.